Hello and welcome back to another episode of ReelTV. I'm your host, Connor Smith.
I'm Kelly McNamara.
Also our host here today. And today we have a good show. We're going to talk about Cinderella a little bit, the new reboot, which came out a couple weeks ago. This is our first show back. Yay! We haven't been back in a while because of Thawne and spring break and a couple other factors. Going to talk about House of Cards a little bit later on the show and then a little bit of news, kind of catch up. So Cinderella came out. Lily James stars as Cinderella. It had Helena Bonham Carter.
Rob Stark.
Yeah, Rob Stark, Kate Blanchett. What did you think overall?
I
of
thought
the Have Courage and Be Kind edition.
Oh my gosh.
They said that like 800 times.
Yeah, I think if you didn't get the message, if you watch Cinderella, you have to have courage and be kind.
Have courage and be kind.
I think honestly they said that. I mean, it was good. I liked the colors and I liked the acting. I thought Kate Blanchett was amazing as a stepmom. I don't know. I think
I like what they added with her. I mean, we're going to spoil it. I mean, if you don't know what Cinderella is about, tough.
Yeah, if you don't know the story, yeah, exactly.
Tale as old as time, sort of, not Beauty and the Beast. But I liked that. I think for a story that's so familiar to so many people, it's very difficult to make it fresh and make it feel new in a sense because we've all seen it so many times. Like, and I think they did a good job with like actually adding new and interesting developments. Like, first off, love the whole first 20 minutes
with the
mother
and the
mom, father.
Yeah.
Because that's like a
well, it shows her childhood. Like she did have like a good childhood. She wasn't like this tiny like little girl who just lost her parents. She grew up with her parents and was raised on having courage.
Having courage and being kind. But I think what's interesting is that I love that there's this callback to the mother multiple times throughout the film. It's like, oh, well, this dress, like, I want to wear this dress to the ball because it's my mother's gown.
Exactly.
And then when she's like, oh, can I like make you a new dress? She's like, oh, well, I kind of wanted to keep this one because it's my mother's. Like everything has, like, it's almost backed up by this initial story, which I feel like it makes it almost feel new in a sense. And I think that they tried to add stuff for the stepmother as well. Like I love the scene in the Disney movie. They do the same
with
one.
the father.
A little bit with the father, but I was thinking toward the end where she locks her in the room. Like the biatch that she is, and she says,
her outfits were on point though.
Oh my gosh.
She is one well-dressed little biatch.
Her green ball outfit. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
We'll get to costumes in a hot sec. But no, when she locks her in the room and then she says, like, why are you so terrible? Like, why are you the way that you are? When Cinderella says that. And then the stepmother's like, oh, well, like my father, like she's like, my ex-husband died. And then I think he died. And she's like, and then
she was in love with him.
And then like, she was in love with him. And then this guy, the father, Cinderella's father, who she married purely for financial gain, died. And she has no one. She has no one. And I like almost like that.
You know what I liked out of all of the Cinderella remakes and like, everyone has their own twist and everything, but I liked how this live action movie it was very true to the actual cartoon. And the only thing they really added was like maybe more detail, but the storyline was like exactly like the cartoon.
It was very straightforward.
Like even when the prince takes her out outside the ball and they go for a walk, like it's very much like the cartoon. I have to say, so spoiler alert, when the lizards turn into the coachmen, that creeped me out.
Really? Oh,
I wasn't into
didn't
that.
mind it. I was
That
like,
they look creepy.
I think like, but I like the humor that he had. I think he if I recall like correctly, he had a line. He's like, oh well, I'm a lizard. Like he's like, oh, I'm not actually a
I'm
a
a
coach.
goose. I can't drive.
He's like, I'm a goose. I can't drive, or like whatever the heck he said. But it was. I thought it was very funny too, and I think like it was different, but it was again, like it was different, but it was the same. It was,
you knew what you were,
Yeah, you got what you wanted. What else? I was almost disappointed in the theater presentation of it. Not a flaw with the movie, but I think like you said, this is a beautifully shot film. The colors, the cinematography, the ball, that whole extravagance of being at the ball. And I almost thought the theater, the colors were almost dimmed out versus like if I were going to watch it on Blu-ray or something like in HD.
Yeah.
I think like that's just a fault with the theater. But I really cannot wait to watch it purely because of how beautiful
I agree with you.
aesthetically and colorful it is.
I personally think the colors in it and the wardrobe and everything is what made the film. I think that's what made it almost different. And I don't know. I agree with you. I'd rather see it in HD, very clear, and definitely.
What'd you think of Lily James as Cinderella?
Okay, I thought she's beautiful. She's beautiful as Cinderella.
She's absolutely gorgeous. I'm pissed that they thinned her waistline.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely
unnecessary.
It's so it's wrong on so many levels, but
I think she was good. Some parts I thought she overdid it. Like she just kept seeing her like whisking, you're like, we get it, like you're a princess.
Stop having so much fun, Cinderella.
Yeah, she's just like, woo. But I mean, if Rob Stark was sweeping me off my feet, I would, I guess, be like her.
Like the lines were corny, but they weren't like too corny. When he's like, oh Cinderella, like you're like I'm. He's like, the people aren't looking at me; they're looking at you. Where he's like, I mean, there were like those corny moments, but it like going back.
I thought he was great. I loved him in it.
I've always kind of enjoyed. I feel like the Disney live action adaptions are very hit and miss. I adore the '90s 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
absolutely,
I agree. That's the best one.
That movie. Oh my gosh! And what do you? Alice in Wonderland was the Tim Burton one, and now we're here with Cinderella. I'm trying to recall what other ones they've done, but now they're going into overdrive.
A lot of them.
Jungle Book, Jon Favreau directed, comes out next year. They just announced Dumbo to be directed by Tim Burton, as well as Beauty and the Beast, which comes out maybe the year before Dumbo.
That makes me nervous because I love Beauty and the Beast, and that makes me really nervous. Like I hope it's going to be good, and Emma Watson's amazing, so I think that's a good sign, but I don't know.
I feel so much more passionate about Beauty and the Beast than I do about Cinderella.
Me too.
So I feel like I'm getting my expectations because Beauty and the Beast was what started this sort of Disney, I think it's actually called the Disney Renaissance in the 90s when it was Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Aladdin,
Mermaid,
Little Mermaid,
Could you
Tarzan.
imagine if they did a live action of Little Mermaid?
That would be horrible.
I'm just like,
actually, Little Mermaid was before Beauty and the Beast, but Beauty and the Beast was really significant in that it was nominated for Oscars. Yeah. It was the first time, like more so than Best Song, like it won multiple awards, and I think it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
and I think that is what was like, wow, like an animated Disney film is nominated, and I think like that's kind of the expectations are so much higher for Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
So Cinderella is definitely worth checking out. We agree on that. Beautiful,
good time film.
Beautiful colors. Have courage and be kind, or else. But we'll be back with a House of Cards discussion. So stick around.
Hello everybody, and here we're going to have a little discussion about House of Cards. I'm Kaan and Rachel.
I'm Rachel Tenard.
And first off, we're hoping you all watched the season, and we are wondering as to what your thoughts are on it, so leave that in the comments. But besides for that, first off, Rachel.
I love season 3 of House of Cards. I thought I'm not a big House of Cards fan in general, but I don't know why I've kept watching it, but season 3 has definitely been my favorite so far.
I'm going to have to say that season 1 was my favorite. However, season 3 is my second favorite, and season 2 would have been my last favorite. However, I want to know what you think about all the characters and how it all developed during this season, because obviously we see a whole different side to what's going on with their marriage, him as the president, him becoming like a dictator almost. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was actually afraid that once he became president, there'd be like nothing left for them to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, like obviously he would go and do something like, I don't know, terrible or something, but I thought like they wouldn't be building towards anything anymore. And I was really happy because they brought a lot of like character dynamics into it. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I look for usually in TV shows is character dynamics. But they had some really great plots that weren't too in the White House rooms.
Yes. Like the Russian, for example. You love seeing this new Putin-esque Russian dictator or president, or whatever you want to call it. And he plays actually a huge part in this whole season. And you see him a lot. And I personally fell in love with the guy because he's exactly what I would expect the Russian dictator to be. How they go and meet in the Middle East, and it was amazing to see that, now you have, first off, obviously we all knew that, we just love Kevin Spacey in his role, and that he, Frank Underwood is the boss, and then now you see the Russian boss. And now you're like, all right, well, they're actually very similar.
And I love how like disrespectful the Russian guy is to like at their home in the White House. Like there's a whole bunch of
you see Frank Underwood being that guy during the whole season, and then now you have a new one.
And he can't kill him too because he's the president, so you know he would if he
Yeah.
could.
True. And then moving on from that, I want to talk a little bit about I'd say Claire Underwood, who is Robin Wright Penn, formerly Robin Wright, and I love her in this role. And she's crazy, and I personally think that everyone's idealizing and looking at her, even though towards the end of the episode, it kind of gets a little fuzzy between them. But I love her as an actress in this whole season. I think she's perfect for it.
Yeah, I think she kind of goes from being kind of like supporting him to more of like her own backbone. She's like, oh, this isn't exactly what I was looking for to do, and I want to do my own thing now. So
Yeah, and
I
then there's
like
the
that
whole
part of it.
I think she still wants kids, maybe.
I don't think so.
I mean, there was that
kinda
one scene where
old
she was puking or
from
something,
that,
and it was just kind of like
I think that was
interesting.
menopause.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what I
think
was
she wants
thinking.
kids. I think
So like now it's up, and then now like they can't have that either, and she's kind of like stagnant because they don't know where to go after this. But I guess now we can go in more a little bit of the plot line and a little spoiler alert. I love how it kind of progresses of him going from I'm the president, and then he's now back in the race, and now you just see that he's actually like he's so power hungry that he's not gonna give that up no matter what, and he's like a dictator pretty much at this point.
And especially like how he talks to the people in his like conferences. Like there's like one person he just like pulls aside and like lets him go like right off when they disagree with him. So it's great. It's like scary to
It's scary.
It's scary that he's in power in the show.
Specifically when you have Kevin Spacey, talk about something or like talking with someone else in the office, and then he gives you that look, the whole look in the middle of the episode.
There's some really great one-liners where he looks at the camera. There's some really, really great one-liners in it. So
He literally, you love to see him looking at you, and then every time he does it, I'm guaranteed whoever's watching is just like, ooh.
It always takes you by surprise. It kind of like freaks you out a little bit, but you kind of love it.
Comes out of nowhere. And then not to mention the cinematography in House of Cards is absolutely amazing. I think it was episode like 6 or 7 or something, where it was so smooth and so well done that you just don't even feel like they're cutting from scene to scene. You feel like they're just, like filming it. It's amazing what they've done. And
I
the
agree. It's
sets
a
and the
beautiful
house, White House, like what are your thoughts on that? I feel like
Yeah, I mean, I love the lighting. That's the one thing I kind of noticed because it was always like, I don't know, they just always look so like pretty, like their faces.
Yeah.
It's not like really hard shadows or anything. I mean, that's just kind of
from a cinematography
particular kind of
You
things.
don't
but
really see that in most TV shows.
it's a lot of thought put into it. So I also want to talk about Doug's plot line because he has a big line, big story.
Yeah,
that
you
goes
do.
on
You see,
and-
first off, another spoiler, I guess. We all thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And then,
Sorry.
And then,
Spoilers.
and then Doug definitely isn't dead. He's kind of crippled, but like it's fine. He's still functioning. But you see a lot of him, of his personal life, and then of his obsession with that one woman, and then what happens later on. I guess we shouldn't tell him.
No, that's too big of a spoiler. So like, but there is like, you kind of see how sad of a character he is because he's just like by himself in
He's
his
the
house
behind the scenes,
and
like creepy guy who's in the kitchen helping Frank Underwood, cook up some new storm somewhere.
And you see how much like he depends on them too. Like he has no one else but them, and then they like kind of drop him because he can't do anything for them anymore.
But
So,
don't worry, he's definitely back. And
He's
then moving
back.
on from that, I guess, who else is back? Who else is new in this season? You have Remy, who has also a bigger spot, but you don't really see him that much.
Jackie kind of rises up
True,
a
Jackie
fair amount.
comes out of nowhere. I don't really think we're going to be seeing much of her in the next season.
I don't think so either. I did like Jackie though, because she was like kind of the one person that challenges Frank kind of consistently throughout the series. But yeah, I don't think she's going anywhere past like.
Plus, Frank kind of, just a little bit more of a spoiler, he kind of gets a little more aggressive this season. And you see him really like, he's not necessarily biting the hand that's feeding him because he is the president of the United States, but he is pretty much, I guess, alienating the people around him. And specifically on the last episode, you're going to see this because it just goes haywire, and you don't really. It's not necessarily the nice cliffhanger episode that I would have expected from an ending. It's not going to have me, biting my nails until next, I guess, season comes out in a year, which is pretty bad.
The whole
but
season kind of builds towards the ending too, so it's not really too much of a shocker,
No,
but
it's not a shocker
it's
at
still kind of that it happened,
Yeah.
Which
And I
I
guess you guys will
recommend
definitely
watching it.
understand from
Yeah.
after you watch all the episodes, specifically the last one. And it's going for something very interesting. I love where the show is progressing, how we're going to see, because it's honestly, I kind of sense some kind of Breaking Bad ending to this, where it's not going to be the ideal ending, of like everyone's happy and like, life is, continuing and, they'll retire or something, because that's definitely not where this show is headed to.
You can't do much after being the president.
Oh,
I mean.
yeah. And plus it's like going to end with, I think the show is going to end not too like soon. I don't see that many more seasons coming up, but definitely watch season 3. I think it was great. And thank you for listening. I'm Kaan and Rachel.
I'm Rachel Snard.
And have a good day.
Hello there, I'm Connor Smith.
And I am Gabe Cohen.
We're going to talk some news tidbits
The news
today.
segment.
News.
Get ready.
So, first piece of new movie and TV news, Mission Impossible 5 trailer, hot off
Another one.
the IMDb presses, actually
Yes.
came out this morning. It's called Rogue Nation. It comes out July 31st of this year. And a
Very
lot of the
exciting.
team is back. Jeremy Renner's back. Simon Pegg is back. The girl who was in the 4th one is not back,
She's not
which
there.
is
There's a
really
new girl.
disappointing because, like, there's that really kick-ass scene in Ghost Protocol, the 4th one, which came out
I
in
just love the
2011.
Dubai. Everything about
Love
Dubai.
it.
He's on the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world. He does his own stunts.
Oh,
You gotta
he
give
is
Tom
so
Cruise some respect
awesome.
for that.
Do you remember the scene where
awesome.
the two women have the fight and she like
Yeah.
kicks her out the window?
Yeah.
That was like my favorite part in the whole movie. And the sand part where he's like the classic Tom Cruise running in the
Mission
sand.
Impossible movies just keep going to the next level, and I think
That's one of
Rogue
the
Nation will do
Only
that as well.
series, like Mission Impossible and Fast and Furious, and that the series
They keep upping the
actually
ante.
has gotten better.
They keep
like,
upping the ante. Yep.
like Mission Impossible 1 is really dull. Fast and Furious 1 through 4 are
It was
really
actually
dull
about
for
drag
me.
racing. It was actually
Yeah.
about racing. Now there's just firefights going on. There's
Oh.
like machine guns.
The more
Oh, it's-
ridiculous, the more I
Yeah,
like it for
exactly.
some
And
reason.
people love that. That's why they're so commercially successful.
And like some little messages about family in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is starring in a live Fraggle Rock. Like if you remember Down in Fraggle Rock with all the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
puppets, like
Yep.
which a
He's
live
great.
action
He's
Fraggle
great. Mm-hmm.
Rock movie, which kind of sounds weird.
Yeah.
Like
I
let's
don't-
just put
I
out
don't know
like
what to expect. I mean, I respect him for going for this. He does.
it almost seems
a
like the
hardworking
Muppets.
guy.
Like
Yeah.
what Jason
Yep.
Segel did with the Muppets, which was awesome.
And the fact that
Which was
Jason
awesome.
Segel actually wrote a Muppet story, like at the end of Forgetting Sarah Marshall with the jacket, he actually wrote that. So the fact that
it's,
he's got
like-
involved with that is very cool.
I know that like he was so passionate about the Muppets and like
Exactly.
I think that's why the movie was so well received is that even you could get that passion from it
He loved it.
watching
He's
it.
all
And
about
I
it.
like don't know if Fraggle Rock I don't really know what if he's
Yeah.
just
I don't know
starring
his
in it. I
connection
think he's
with
only
it.
starring
Yeah,
in it, but
I
like
don't think he has got that Jason Segel connection.
the
but
Fraggle Rock is so much less popular than the Muppets. Like very
The Muppets
few
are everywhere.
The Muppets are even before the movies. Like
Yep.
I still knew the Muppets, but like I don't know. I vaguely know
Piggy.
Fraggle Rock, but we'll see about that.
He's a hardworking guy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We'll see how it
Yes, Don John. But love that movie. But next piece of news is all the Beauty and the Beast casting.
goes. It's flawless.
So
Honestly, it's flawless.
new casting.
love
We
it.
already knew Emma Stone. Dan Stevens is
Oh,
Gaston.
Emma.
What is Hermione.
Hermione. It's Hermione. We know
Emma
it.
Stone
Emma
is
Watson.
Spider-Man. Emma Roberts is American Horror Story.
Emma
Watson
is-
is Hermione
Yeah.
/ Belle.
Yeah.
Lots
now
of
she's
Emmas.
Belle. It's great.
Lots
a lot
of
of
Emmas.
Emmas. A lot of talented Emmas.
But they just cast Josh Gad, who was Snowman in Frozen,
Yep.
and he was in Book of Mormon as
He's
LeFou,
great.
who was like Gaston's little.
He's a little
Yeah, go
fat
get
guy.
her,
Little fat
Gaston.
guy. He's funny.
Like
he's like
the-
his little side
little
pet.
sidekick.
And he like
His
he
pet.
sucks up to Gaston. He does Gaston, you're the man. But this is a perfect role for Josh Gad. I see him in this role, and he's just like the Snowman. To voice that was perfect for
Yeah.
him. So
I think, and then I didn't know this, but looking it up, Kevin Kline is actually Maurice, who was
the father.
which kind of like in terms of visually,
big
like
fatherly
Maurice was
figure.
like short
a
and
little
fat
old man.
and white,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
with white hair, but in like
Kevin Kline's
Kevin
like- he's
Kline's
tall.
like tall as
He's
hell.
tall, yeah.
His hair's curly.
He's a big guy, yeah.
So he's thin as anything. He's like a twig. So
And we got
I guess it'll work
Gaston.
out.
We got Luke Evans. And if you know Luke Evans, he is the bad guy in Fast and Furious 6. I forget his name
Yes.
of that, but it's like Sharp or something. He is big British guy, like very good looking. He's he's Gaston. He is.
It's just
what
funny,
he-
like, because like I bet after Beauty and the Beast, people are gonna be like, oh, forever he
Yep,
will be known
he'll
as
be
Gaston.
So I think they're gonna do a great job with this. The cast looks great.
It does. And Emma,
Everybody loves that story.
Emma Thompson.
Yes, she's the
Lots of more Emmas. She's Miss Potts.
She's Miss Potts.
Angela
I wonder who
Lansbury
the
was
teacups
it?
are gonna be.
Yeah,
some cute little kid probably. I don't know.
Probably.
We'll
But there
see.
were, moving on, there were a ton of trailers this week. First
Lot of
off,
good
Pixels, which is, I bet you're looking forward to more Adam Sandler and Kevin James
Yep.
films. But I gotta say, this looks interesting. I gotta say, I'm intrigued.
It's a
like,
cool premise. It's a cool premise.
It's essentially these video, like our video games were set in a time capsule and they come back. So like in the
And they're
trailer,
back. And they're back.
like Pac-Man is
coming after
ripping
the
apart
city.
a street and Donkey Kong is like
Yep, he's
climbing
smashing
up
stuff.
buildings. And it
Yep.
sounds like, I think like my first reaction was like, okay, like you're just gonna want to make a crap ton of money off of the games that like
and
this
it
is
probably
just purely
will. It probably will.
like this
well.
is purely product placement. But then I know this is a far comparison, but like I look at the Lego movie and I thought the same thing when I first saw the Lego movie. It's like,
then it turned
okay, Legos
It was
are,
great.
they're just trying to sell Lego sets. This is not going to be a good movie. But like that turned out to be the
was great.
funniest film of the
Great
year.
cast.
So
but that was all animated. This is
Adam
real.
Sandler and Kevin James,
It's
so-
literally them and they're fighting games. I want to say the trailer was it was a little racist. Like at the end, did you see?
I don't remember the very end. What happened?
The end. The creator of Pac-Man is this Asian man, and his like accent is just like
super
it's very
embellished.
it's just like racist.
Oh,
but
man.
we'll see. I mean, Pixels, it might do well.
I like.
Who knows?
It might be. I'm not sure if it's Chris or Christopher Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
He did the first two Harry Potters. He did Gremlins. He did
And
Gremlins too.
he's
Like
on
he's
the-
an established. Oh wait, no, that was Joe Dante. Wait, I'm screwing up my directors.
Yeah.
Don't
I'm not
hate
sure
me.
who's doing this. Who's doing the Pixels?
Joe Dante did Gremlins. Chris Columbus did. He did a lot. He did the first two Harry Potters. He did Percy Jackson.
So he's an
He's done a lot of
established guy.
fantasy movies. So I kind of think like that.
It's kind of reminded me of Wreck-It Ralph
Yeah.
in a way, just like the whole video game premise.
Yeah.
Or not the video
That's
game
true.
premise. Yeah.
I think Chris Columbus actually wrote Gremlins. Don't hold me against that. But I just had to go back to that because but moving on toward the end,
we'll see.
a couple other trailers and then we'll be done.
Transporter rebooted.
Transporter refueled.
They're refueling the franchise. So it's Frank. It's Jason Statham's character. Same name, same everything. Just complete
That
reboot.
franchise was dead before it
It
started.
really was. I do love Jason Statham. I do, but like it's just like a little much what they were doing.
Very few people can pull off what Jason Statham does, and that like I enjoy the first Transporter movie. It's fun, but a movie that has virtually no storyline and it
just
is
drives.
essentially
He just
90
drives.
minutes of him
Beating
kicking
people
ass
up.
and taking names.
There's
and
there's some great fight scenes, but this guy, the names of me. But if you watch Game of Thrones, he's Dario Naharis. Maybe this Transporter franchise will jumpstart his career in a big way.
Maybe.
Who knows? But
It seems like it's
Same people
like,
that did-
it seems desperate.
the
It
same
seems
people that did
very
the Taken
desperate.
trilogy are doing this.
So don't. The first Taken was everything, but it's
And then
slowly
it's just like,
diminished to nothing.
and then,
Final trailer is Paper Towns, which is actually based on John Green. He wrote a book, so it's based on that. He wrote The Fault in Our Stars. So every teen girl is
it's
freaking
probably
out.
going to be a tearjerker.
Maybe. See, it looks
No,
interesting. It's like
it's definitely-
these two kids form a friendship, and then she disappears, but she leaves him notes, so he has to go find
And
her.
of course, he's like in love with her.
I haven't read the
he
book.
loves her.
I did enjoy The Fault in Our Stars. I thought it was very genuine. I read the book and saw the movie. I do enjoy the story. I think it is
Everybody
very
loved
good.
that
So
movie.
I think Paper
People
Towns
loved it.
has
Could be good.
potential
A lot of
from what I
potential. Yeah,
saw.
Absolutely.
All right, but that's it for us here on News. I'm Connor Smith.
Gabe Cohen.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Lavender's blue, dilly dilly, lavender's green. When I am king, dilly dilly, you shall be queen. Who told you so, dilly dilly, who told you